I was at the Highland Neighborhood Association. I gave them the whole presentation, and then someone looked at me at the end and said, "Is there any hope?" And so I always try to end now on a positive. There is hope. The indicators are that we're doing better than we were a few years back. And I think we're going to come out of this downturn better off than when we went in, and better off than our peer communities. We're managing ourselves well in city government. And that's really to the employees, the department heads that are really, when I sat down with department heads a couple of years ago and talked about this, everyone agreed. We're not going to go out and just cut things to make it more dramatic. We're actually going to try to work to save money. Now, it's sometimes a battle. Sometimes we have the back and forth. But by and large, I think services are still being provided. Now, I can tell you all these things, but it's about our finances. But there are other people that look at our finances on a regular basis. We do borrow money every year. The people that lend us the money, or the people that lend us the money, require that somebody from the outside look at our money, at our financial condition. The bond rating agencies. They give you a good rating, you pay less in interest if they give you a bad rating. Our bond rating has actually improved over the last few years, from 2006. We used to have a negative outlook. They've given us a stable outlook. Our actual rating has gone up, but that's been more, I will admit, that has been more some changes that they've made in how they rate municipalities. But when you read, it isn't just a number or a letter that they give you, it's actually what they say about you that I think is significant. And they've said that the city's effective management team continues to implement cost-saving strategies and proven expenditure reductions to produce balanced operations. Balanced in terms of revenues and expenditures, and balanced in terms of services, the way I look at that. I think that's important. We're not just we're not just putting all our money into public safety or education. We try to balance so that we do a little bit of everything to make sure, because let's face it, you have to spend money on recreation so the kids aren't out on the street causing public safety problems. You have to provide money into education so that there's a future for the kids, so that there isn't a public safety problem. You have to spend money on public works so your community doesn't deteriorate, which can also cause problems down the road. But this is what Moody's says about us. That's a positive. Department of Revenue. In 2006, the Department of Revenue came to the city of Lowell and they put us on a watch list. They said, your finances have dropped so much. Remember that big drop-off in free cash? They said, and there were other problems that were happening with the city's finances in the winter and spring of 2006, and they put the city on a watch list. This year, in spite of the terrible economy that we've had over the last several years, they actually lifted that from us. They took us off that watch list, saying that Lowell has done a remarkable job during difficult financial times over the past few years to improve their situation. Internal controls that have been instituted have placed Lowell in a position to weather the difficulties that you face in this business. The Department of Revenue doesn't just send these things out willy-nilly. It took a lot for them to send it to us. And it's a credit, I think, to the finance team that we have. I think the city has a tremendous finance team with Tom Moses, Cheryl Wright, Dave McGurl, Sue LeMay. It's the policies and support that we received with what we've been trying to do from the city council. These are all positives. In the end, I think that we will be leaner. We won't be adding all those people back, but we'll be more supportable, more sustainable. We're right-sized, and we'll be a well-positioned government to grow in the future. So I don't have the answer for you right now on how we're going to cut that $1.6 million, but we will. We'll close that. There'll be a combination probably of continuing to look and see what revenue opportunities we have and look at where we can cut costs some more. The 1.6 is in large part the requests that have been put before us. So we're actually sitting down with police, fire, public works in the next 3 days. Tom Moses, the CFO, has been sitting down with some of the smaller departments, and we will close that gap and produce a balanced budget. So that's all I have. If there's questions, be happy to answer those.
I'd like to speak and have you comment on one of those invaluable services.
Mm-hmm.
A few days ago, my wife and I read an article we found disturbing, and that had to do with the city swimming pools.
Yes.
There's a saying in Africa that the children of the village, and the responsibility of the village. We are the village. I mean, most of us are, you know, we're middle-class Americans, and a lot of us have a pool in the yard. A lot of people don't,
Right.
you know. So these kids are going to have no place to go this summer. And it's not all about just having a place to go on a day when it's 80 or 90 degrees to cool off. Most of these pools have a lunch program. I don't know who provides that. I believe it's one of the nonprofits. For many of these children, that's the only food they'll get all day long. So the problem is deeper than just giving the kids a place to cool off. And I know you're working hard on the problem, and I hope you'll continue to work hard on it.
We are. You know, the pool. I think the pools are very. I agree with you. The pools are very significant, not just because it's a nice luxury to have. It is for many of these young people in the families. It isn't just the kids; it's the families. It's a place for them to go during the day for recreation. It's all part of the quality of life for the city. So we've tried to maintain the pools. In fact, I think we added a pool a couple of years ago to open up. Last year we had tremendous generosity from Eastern Bank, and they helped us raise. They donated $25,000. They helped us raise another $25,000. We are already starting to work on that, to put more money in. In fact, it was a point of discussion, interestingly enough, with Tom Moses that I had just today, to find a way to get the necessary money to keep those pools open. We are trying to raise money, and we're going to try to, you know, we may have to ratchet back a little bit in some hours or do some different things, but we are working at that. Anything else? It's probably now top of the fifth.
Are you all set?
All right, all set. Thank you very much.